Hello everyone. Today's video is going to be about my experience with COVID, and because I'm passionate about the body and how my body communicates with me, and I include spirituality in it, to me COVID was quite an interesting experience, and I thought I would share it with you. I kind of mentioned a few things on Instagram and it seemed like a few people were interested in my experience. And that a few people had a similar experience with it as well, which is quite an unusual perspective on it from what I've heard in the mainstream. So I just wanted to share a little bit with you, and if you've had a similar experience with COVID, then please let me know in the section below. If you had a different experience with COVID, then also please let me know. I recorded this video over a couple of days. One was sooner after I started to feel better, so I'm kind of like looking a bit miserable, but I wanted to re-record some sections because I don't really know what I said. I was still kind of brain foggy. So here we are. What I said, I was still kind of brain foggy. So here we are. So from a physical perspective, COVID was really hard for me. There was a lot of spluttering and mucus and coughing, and we had the headache for a few days, and all of those kind of usual symptoms. It was very unpleasant. It wasn't fun at all. It got me much harder than I thought it would, but I'm out the other side, and that's okay. The difficulty of it was interesting from a spiritual and shadow side perspective. I found that a lot of the time, sometimes in order to access deep wounds within your psyche or deep wounds within yourself, sometimes you need to go through a bit of an ordeal, and that's what I feel the physical side was for me. Was going through a bit of an ordeal, bit of hardship, for me to be able to dive deeper into my psyche. And when I did dive deeper, depending on what the symptom was, for example, there was times where I was achy all over my body, and I found that some of the aches actually related to certain memories or emotions. For example, I had an ache just near my heart and my chest, and it just kept stabbing. And when I spent time to actually be with that stabbing, and I found myself just bawling, crying my eyes out, and just cried so much. I had so much that needed to come out. And eventually I got to a stage where the deepest feeling from childhood came up, around abandonment and something around with my dad. And I hadn't felt that feeling since I was a child. I didn't even know it was something that needed to be processed, but it came up, and I had the opportunity to be with it, to sit with it, to feel that pain, and to process it and heal it. So that was really interesting for me. There were other instances also where my nervous system was activated, and through this activation, I just felt all of a sudden my whole nervous system was just like vibrating with anxiety and terror. and it reminded me of a feeling that I had from the ayahuasca trauma that I had. And that was really interesting to me because I knew that I still had some stuff, something sitting within me from that trauma, that anxiety, that terror, because I didn't have the capacity to fully heal it at the time. I just needed to regulate my nervous system, try to come back to myself. It was all just too much. But it was interesting that this virus activated my nervous system and brought this up. And as horrible and terrifying as it was, when I realized what was happening, I sat with it and was able to be with it and extract the message from it. Because anxiety is such an important feeling, and it has such important messages. A lot of the time it has some big healing behind it. So I sat with it and was able to use my tools to work with it and heal that as well. And then throughout the night I just kept, like, my nervous system would zap as well, and that was really interesting. I don't really know what it was, but when I think about it, it kind of felt like just little end bits of that overactive nervous system just kind of being flushed out of my system. That's what it felt like. And ever since then, my nervous system has been so much calmer. I've just been like, I haven't had this underlying feeling that I still need to work on my nervous system. It's actually been so much calmer. So all of this has been so interesting to me. To me, COVID was such a deep journey into my psyche and into healing old wounds. And it's not really a perspective that I've heard anyone talk about before. So I thought I would share this in case you are doing work on your body or doing inner work or sensitizing yourself to your body and reclaiming your internal power, and perhaps you might have a similar experience that you've gone through. When I shared about it on social media, I actually had a few people message me and say they experienced something similar, that they experienced a lot of old traumas coming up, that being in the shadow, and had opportunities to really sit with those parts of themselves, as hard as it was. So I'm wondering if viruses and sickness is an opportunity to heal deep things within us, and our body just telling us, bringing up. I wonder if viruses could be kind of like a partnership with our body, where they actually work with them. And I know this isn't everyone's experience, and not everyone does inner work the way that I do. This is kind of like my life. This is what I do. This is what I teach. This is how I help women get to know themselves and get in touch with their bodies. So this is the work that I do every single day. And to me, it's just interesting that that there is this potential for, when you do have that intimate connection with your body, intimate connection with the universe, and know how it all kind of works, that you might have a totally different perspective on a virus that everyone has been scared of for the past 2 years. And it makes me wonder what other interesting aspects to this reality there are that we might not know about. And what if we're being fed a whole heap of baloney in regards to what viruses or other sicknesses, other diseases, and just other things that we experience every single day are? What if there are new perspectives to explore? What if there are new possibilities? And what if, once we walk through that fear, there is a whole new opportunity for growth and evolution with any hardships that come with life? One of the things that I've definitely discovered recently is in the past few years is just the conditioning and programming that we have around pain and hardship, that, you know, we're taught to repress all these things, and life should be easy, which is one of the biggest lies that we're ever told. It makes us the opposite of resilient. It makes us weak having that mindset. Instead, what we should be aiming for is learning how to work with the hardships, learning how to navigate them in a way that is aligned with ourselves, aligned with our body's wisdom, and aligned with this reality and how it works and all of the laws. Sorry, the cows were coming towards me. You want to be on cameras, Nobby? Hello. Hi. Boys were interested in seeing what I was up to. You want to take some notes? Hi, Nobby. Don't you shake your head at me, mister. Good boy, Nobby. So, before I got distracted. So yeah, I'm interested in becoming resilient and working with the hardships, learning to see them from a different perspective, because we have so much power as human beings when we do this. On the other side of the spectrum, we have what we see in the world, which is a lot of fear, a lot of people giving up their bodily autonomy because of fear and making decisions out of fear, and people who are just scared of life and living and whatever life is going to throw at them. So to me, I'm more interested in how can I actually reclaim my power? What does a reclamation of power look like? And how do I do this? And for me, going through COVID, first of all, I decided early on that I didn't want to be scared. I said to the virus, I said, thank you for being here. You too belong to this existence and to my experience. And please reveal what needs to be revealed. And the reason why I set that intention for it was because I saw a lot of spiritual people who do inner work, I'm just watching the boys, making sure they don't run over me. I saw them experience COVID in a way that by the end of it, they said that they experienced a lot of shadow, that a lot of healing had occurred, and by the end of it, they were actually stronger than what they were beforehand. So I've been watching this happen over the past 2 years, and I decided I want to have an experience like that. And as difficult as it was, that's the type of experience that I had, and I'm actually really grateful for the virus and for the opportunity to unearth things in my psyche that maybe I wouldn't have unearthed without this virus. And to me, the virus has been an incredibly difficult gift. And I guess that is how I prefer to go through challenges and hardships, and how I would prefer to see challenges in life. Because that makes me more powerful, that makes me more resilient, that makes me empowered rather than having my power taken away from me. So that is what I wanted to share with you today. I'm curious to know what your perspective is on COVID, and if you've been through it, if you had any similar experiences. I know that everyone's experiences are very different. A lot of people have died from it as well. And, you know, we have a lot of fear around death too. So that is something that we obviously need to work on as a society and culture. But I'm not saying that this is the only way to experience COVID. I'm just saying that this is just one perspective in a sea of perspectives. And I haven't really heard, apart from the spiritual people, I haven't heard too many other people talking about an alternative way to go through this virus without fear. Or even if they do experience fear, and I had a tiny little bit of fear a couple of times, but I was able to walk through the fear and come out the other end more empowered. And I'm still recovering. I'm still a bit snotty and some phlegm is coming up, but I definitely feel like I managed to, like the virus helps me reveal things that I wouldn't have normally been able to see. So I'm very grateful for it. So yes, that is that. And also I'll include some clips. I'm going to review all the other footage that I recorded when I was still fuzzy-headed. Maybe some of it is relevant. I know that there was some echidna footage, so I'll include that for you as well. And yeah, that's what I wanted to share with you today. I have more videos coming. I am working also on Cycle Power, which is a course for women to get to know their menstrual cycles and become empowered by the wisdom and the power of our menstrual cycles, because our bodies are so incredible and the menstrual cycle is phenomenal and has so much wisdom and so much power. So I'm working on that. If you want to subscribe to my email newsletter, you can also get the Body Love Masterclass for free. So the link is below. And also I do one-on-one coaching. So if you are interested in reaching out, feel free to reach out to me on Instagram. My website should be up fairly soon. So you'll be able to contact me through there. And yeah, I look forward to seeing you in the next video.